If you've ever been with someone who pulled away right when things were getting good, if you've experienced the cold silence after warm closeness, if you've seen someone you cared about disappear without warning, leaving your messages on read and your heart on pause, you may have been with an avoidant. And here's the cruel twist. Just when you start to heal, just when your life is finally finding its rhythm again, they come back. But not in the way movies show it. There's no running through the rain, no flowers, no tearful monologue about how they've realized you're the one. No. When avoidants come back, they do it quietly, cautiously, like they're testing the temperature of a room they once set on fire. This is not a fairy tale reunion. It's a psychological pattern, one that's hard to spot if you don't know what to look for. Today, we're going to break down the 3 stages of an avoidant coming back, why they move through these phases, and, most importantly, what actually makes them stay once they do. Stage 1. The silent hover. At first glance, it doesn't even look like they're coming back at all. No text, no call, no obvious sign, just silence. But here's the truth most people miss. For an avoidant, silence is not absence, it's observation. When an avoidant enters this stage, they're not ready to step back into your world, but they are circling it, like a satellite quietly collecting data. They've pulled away to feel safe, but they're still tethered to you by invisible threads. You might notice subtle traces. They're suddenly watching your Instagram stories again after weeks of ghosting. They accidentally like an old post from months ago. They don't block you. In fact, they leave the digital door slightly open. A mutual friend mentions that your name came up in conversation. Why do they do this? Because avoidants are wired to manage intimacy anxiety by creating space. But space doesn't erase attachment, it just creates a safer vantage point. From this distance, they can watch without feeling the immediate risk of being pulled into emotional closeness. It's like they're standing outside the house they once lived in, peeking through the blinds, checking if the lights are still on inside. Are you angry? Have you moved on? Are you with someone else? The hover is strategic. It's their way of testing the emotional temperature without putting themselves in a position to be burned. And here's the ironic twist. For the avoidant, this stage feels like a first step toward reconnection. For you, it may feel like nothing is happening at all. But in their mind, watching you from afar, reading between the lines of your posts, analyzing your tone, noticing your patterns, is a way to re-engage without risk. They're not ready to speak yet, but they're gathering enough reassurance to believe that if they did approach, the coast would be clear. The question is, what they find during this silent hover will either make them move toward you or vanish back into the shadows. Stage 2. The Subtle Reconnection. This is where they make their first actual move, but don't expect a grand declaration of love. It's usually small. A casual text out of nowhere. Hey, I saw something that reminded me of you. A reaction to your story. A meme. A harmless joke. On the surface, nothing special. Underneath, loaded with meaning. Avoidants reach out when they believe enough time has passed for the emotional threat to fade. But here's the secret. They're not just checking on you, they're also testing themselves. Will they feel that old overwhelm? Will their walls go up again? If not, they'll take another step forward. This phase is fragile. They inch closer, but if they sense pressure, they run. They need control, so their reconnection is light, playful, and low stakes. A meme today, a question tomorrow. Then they might vanish again. Not because you did something wrong, but because the vulnerability hangover hit. That's when the fear whispers, you're getting too close again. The key here is how you respond. If you flood them with neediness or urgency, they retreat. But if you stay calm, curious, and grounded without chasing, they feel something rare, safety. Avoidants are terrified of being consumed by someone else's emotions. When you show you can stand on your own without collapsing into them, it relaxes their defenses. That steadiness is what keeps them returning. Stage 3. The tentative recommitment. If they feel safe long enough, they'll step into this final stage. It's a slow return to emotional investment, but on their terms. Don't expect fireworks. Their commitment is shown in small but significant ways. Texting more regularly, asking how your day went, making plans in advance and actually keeping them. For most people, these seem like the basics. For an avoidant, they're monumental. But here's the truth. They will only stay if one condition is met: emotional safety. They need to know they won't be trapped, judged, or drowned in emotional demands. You can't love an avoidant into security, but you can create an environment where they don't feel they have to run. That doesn't mean hiding your feelings. It means expressing them without making the avoidant feel responsible for fixing them. The moment they feel they can keep their autonomy and still be loved, that's when they stay. What truly makes an avoidant stay for good comes down to 3 deep, unspoken needs. First is emotional sovereignty. They need to feel free in love, not trapped by it. If your presence feels like a rescue mission or constant pressure, they'll instinctively pull away. But if your love is rooted in trust and respect for their independence, they'll begin to soften and lean in. Second is subtle trust. Avoidants don't seek grand emotional showdowns, but they do crave consistency. When your actions match your words and you don't punish them for needing space, you slowly prove that you're not like the people who made them fear closeness in the first place. And third is self-reflection. Some avoidants can only stay once they've faced their own inner battles, whether through therapy, journaling, or confronting their fears. When they start to see connection as a choice instead of a trap, they can finally commit without feeling the urge to run. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing them to come back is often the moment they feel safest to do so. Not because you've stopped caring, but because you've stopped clinging. You've stepped into your own power, and to an avoidant, that power is magnetic. So if you're wondering, will they come back? The real question is, who will you be if they do? If you're still aching for validation, you risk repeating the cycle. But if you've built boundaries, healed your own wounds, and remembered your worth, you won't just wait. You'll choose. Choose whether their return adds to your peace or disrupts it. Choose whether the person they are now matches the love you deserve. Because at the end of the day, avoidants have stages of coming back, but you have stages of waking up. You don't want crumbs. You don't want seasonal love. You want someone who chooses you with clarity and never makes you question your value. If they can be that person, wonderful. If not, you're still whole. Thanks for spending a few minutes here with me today. If you're on a journey toward wisdom and inner peace, hit like, subscribe, and keep growing with us. See you soon.